and for children. So glad that you are here. I don't see as many people this week as I know we're scheduled, so they'll probably start trickling in. But if they are your friends, just get on the phone or, let them know, text them, what have you, that we're starting. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it back over into the hands of Michelle Estrada, and she is going to be talking this week incorporating STEM with when cooking with children. So as always, any questions, please drop them in the chat or feel free to ask her because she is very into the communication between you guys. So Michelle, I'm turning it over to you. Thank you again for coming. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can.
Okay. I was telling you that how excited I am to be here today. Thank you so much for having me again. And at the same time, I'm kind of sad because today I think is our last one for this year. So I can't wait for you to call me again so we can do this again next year. So today thank you. Today we're going to be talking about incorporating STEM. And actually, I add the letter A there because I'm all about teaching children also with art. So I don't know what happened. You know how it is when you do a presentation, you review the presentation 100 times, but you still make mistakes. So again, my name is Michelle Estrada. I'm the Family and Consumer Science Agent with Wayne County Cooperative Extension. And today we're just going to be talking about developmental goals in cooking. We're going to be talking about ideas with local foods and cooking with local foods. So let's start. So in here, this is something that I got from the Bright Hub Education program. And it's basically all the things that you can teach or all the things that kids can learn when you're teaching cooking or when you're just working with food. So just to review a few, like with self-esteem and independence, describe the foods that are commonly eaten at home. They identified foods that are chosen because of the child's culture or religious beliefs. They develop basic skills for washing dishes, disposing waste, and storing food. They develop a great sense of pride because they made it themselves. And like I say, I'm not going to go through all that, but we have in here, and you have the presentation in our Google Drive. So be sure that you check all these things that really, is when you start reading and say, yes, I should not just cook with children, but we need to wash the dishes or we need to wash the produce. Also, how to use the cooking utensils and the names for cooking utensils. So all those things that they're going to help the self-esteem and independence, interaction and cooperation, communication, discovery and exploration, physical skills, and of course, my favorite, artistic expression and appreciation. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about today is literacy. So if you're using the creative curriculum, I know it has a lot of ideas, and also we have a book that goes, the Farm to ECE goes with the creative curriculum. So it has wonderful ideas, and I was looking for some ideas there, and I use some of the ideas, but I always know that when you're reading those things, like I like to have visuals. So what I have for you today in here, and again, you can always go back to this presentation to check what are the resources that we are suggesting for you. These are books that we already have in our office, and we already review. So we read all these books, and we feel that they're appropriate for children. There are some that are a little bit long. So depending on how you're using these books, you may need to start the book and then take a break, talk a little bit about that, and then maybe the next stage you continue with that book. But they're very simple. And what I love about these books, let me see, like Sylvia's Spinach. I just love those because, it talks about like she didn't like spinach, and then they start growing their own produce, and then she started loving spinach, and it tells you like how different ways you can eat a spinach. So those are like great resources, and many of these books, they actually give you some ideas on how to use them in your classroom. So some they really when you're reading, it's like, oh, that's also part of my culture. So all those things that they're going to really help you, not just to learn how plants grow or like how to eat these vegetables and fruits, but also how to how they're part of our culture. One of my favorites also is the blueberries for sale. That's another one that I really like. The Watermelon Madness, The Last Peach. Those are like really good books when you know, when you're not just sharing about food, but also when you're talking about being kind and share with others and help each other. So those are really good books that they have all these other topics around food. Okay, so the next thing that I have for you, and I know in the past when I was talking with some childcare providers, I never had this problem as a teacher, as a preschool teacher, that I couldn't show videos. Like I know we were restricted to not to use too much screen time, but I was able to use some videos, especially for music or very short films. So in this case, what I have for you, and I'm going to show you at the end of our presentation, the Google Drive, so you can have a little bit more understanding of how we organize the information. But in this case, we have like different songs. Um, I don't know if this happened to you. There are some songs that are so slow or they have too many words that sometimes when you're working with preschoolers or even younger children, it is hard. Those songs are hard, or they don't really get the kids' attention. So we try to really find some songs that make sense for the children, that they don't have too many words, and they have the beat, or you can make different gestures or different movements with the song. Okay, we cannot find for all the products that we are teaching this year, but hopefully as we get you know, your ideas, maybe you can send us some ideas or videos, we can put it there in the Google Drive so we can have for all the products. But I'll show you that later. So I want to show you this one. This one is actually a short film. They're around 5 minutes. And oh my goodness.
Michelle? Michelle, can you hear me? I think we lost you.
Hear me now? Can you?
I can.
Thank you. Guess what? My battery was dead. Okay. I don't know where you stop when I stopped talking, but hopefully.
When you just said you were going to show us the video and then it just stopped.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. So this video, they're very funny, and they have for tomatoes, apples, spinach, several ones. And they don't only like that they're just funny or cartoons, but they also teach children about like different varieties of tomatoes, or they show how apples grow. So things like that. So when you have a chance, if we have a chance to come back and watch these videos, I'll show you a little piece, but if not, you will have these links so you have access to these. And like I say, this is from Disney, but it doesn't really show any characters related to Disney. They're just well done and they're so funny. I just watch them, you know, when I just want to watch them. So this is another video about like broccoli. And like I say, we have different examples there, so you can use them. This one, like we ever like the other day, we had we call it Locally Delicious, just for kids, and we had a summer camp. We did this program last year virtually, but this time we had it face to face, and we went to the farmers market and we did crafts and we did a recipe. But this was one of the favorite things. I think, well, I had a lot of fun because we put fake strawberries on the floor and the children needed to pick up the strawberries because the song says like picking, I can't remember the song now, but picking strawberries. So one of the things that I do not have a good voice, but I love to sing. But if I'm singing by myself, I have a hard time just doing it by myself. So having a video, even if you don't want to show the video, but just the music, it helps me a lot. And I know for some teachers, they may have the same issue that I have. So now let's talk a little bit about math or mathematics. So with this, we create something that you can use as you're teaching all these fruits and vegetables, or you can do it as a review. So basically we put all the fruits and vegetables that we're talking. Remember that I said in the first class that we chose 12, so one per month. And we have them all in here. And then we have another one. I don't have the small sheet, but this is on your Google Drive. You're going to find it as a worksheet. But I know in some centers, childcare centers, you're not allowed to use worksheets. So you can do it as a worksheet, or we create a poster for you. Now I'm going to show you in here. So what you can do, you can just post it on your, during circle time or something. And we have two posters, the one that has all the fruits and vegetables. And then we have the one that says how many. So if I was playing with this with the children, I would say, okay, let's start about how many pumpkins. And we'll try to find all the pumpkins together. And we say 1, 2, 3. So we laminate these posters so you can use them several times and they can write the number 3, or they can, like if we were talking about strawberries, let's see if I can count because I didn't count them before the class. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if they're not using numbers yet, we can make circles. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So numbers together. And I think we did just 1 to 5 on that one. But you will have these as a poster or also as a worksheet. Okay. So another game that we create for you is to do this sequence of numbers or number sequence. So that you can cut. This is the way you're gonna, when you print it, you will print it this way. And then you can cut each stripe. And so when you're working with the children in the centers or something, or you're reviewing the numbers or sequences, you can just put them together in just like a puzzle. Okay. So now, and we have all the we create all for all the fruits and vegetables. Okay. Another one that I thought this was really, really good idea is a tasty treasure hunt. So something, and you can change the sentences according to the ones that you have on that day. But if you have several fruits and vegetables, and these can be even fake, if you have them in a box or something, you can ask the kids, okay, show me something round, and they can find something round like an apple or something like that. A fruit with a stone, that would be something that if they already talk about peaches, so we can help them to find that. A fruit that you can pick yourself. So that's something that if we already talk about how fruits and vegetables grow, and we talk about that, they can choose. A vegetable that is longer than your hand, and they can be measuring and comparing. A vegetable that crunches, that's another one that is really cool, because if they already did some taste tests, they will know which one's crunch and which one's not. A fruit with seeds on the outside, kids get so excited about knowing how many seeds strawberries have. So something green or something yellow. And like I said, this is just some examples, or that's something that you can do with the kids. Okay, so now we'll go to science and technology, and you're going to see more science and technology in this one, but we'll promise we'll work a little bit more for next year. So this is something that it was based in a game that I purchased years ago, and I don't even know where I got it. So I tried to recreate this, and I really want to find real seeds. So that's my plan for next year. But with this one, what you will do, and like I said, you have everything. You can just print the paper the same way we use cardstock, and then we laminate it. And we have a cheap laminate machine from one of the grocery stores, a very popular grocery store, and it is really worth it because your stuff will last forever. So in this case, we have the watermelon. So if we choose the watermelon, or the children choose the watermelon, they need to find the card that has the watermelon seeds, right? So they have all these cards. We have all these cards, and we chose watermelon because that was easier, and that's the one that I recognize. No, by now I know which one is which one, but not when I started. So we find the watermelon seeds. Then we want to find the watermelon plant, right? So we have all these plants to show to the kids. And then finally they found the watermelon plant. And of course, they know that where is the watermelon fruit. Hopefully they can recognize that one. And here it is. So the watermelon. And the pictures are very nice. We try to find pictures that are really they're bright and they show the real plant or the real seeds. Okay. And we have some lessons that day actually from our crops agent. So that was really cool. Okay, let me see what else we have in here. I don't want to make a mess in here. So again, you have for each one, blueberry, watermelon, tomatoes, peaches, apples, sweet potatoes, pumpkins, and cabbage. Okay, another thing that actually this idea came out because I will ask my children. My children are teenagers, a preteen and a teenager. So I'll say, help me to wash the potatoes. And now they will wash the potatoes and then they give it to me. And I said, did you wash the potatoes or they're just wet? So this is an activity that you can actually do with the kids. You see here, they're playing with fake fruits and vegetables. But actually, sweet potatoes are very firm in their, I would not be afraid that the kids will hurt the sweet potatoes. But you can give them a brush, or first ask them to wash them just with their hand. And then you can have something, another container with clean water, and then just put it in the clean water and show them like they still have dirt. So we know that if we don't brush sweet potatoes, the dirt is not going to wash. So it is important to use a brush, right? We know that with some like blueberries or strawberries, we don't need a brush, but there are some products that we need a brush. So this is another great idea to, like I said, not just as part of being independent and independent, but also to discover bacteria is there and other things that they're there that we need to wash them off. Okay. Any questions so far? Are we doing good? Okay, perfect. Okay, Marianne, can we go to the next slide? I don't know this. Okay, so now, like I say, art is one of my favorites, and you can find so many ideas on the internet. So, but this is just some things that I found. Actually, the apple and the tomato, I made those for another program, but all the other ones are just ideas from the internet. So this is another way that you can, some children, they really need you to read a book to understand and to learn about fruits and vegetables. But then every time that we know that the connections in the brain, it's they work with repetition and repetition and repetition. And if we're talking about, if we're reading and then we're going to the garden and then we're growing stuff and then we do music and movement and then we do art with all these, you're teaching children in a different ways. And we know that children have different intelligence. So here is just a piece of, different art. I love the sweet potatoes. I thought they were just so cute. And then just watching, all those like the hair growing or the arms, I don't know. Okay, so another one that is one of my favorites, and it has been very popular in our classes. Like many times, we don't have to have a recipe. Sometimes we're like, oh, I don't really want to cook with the children because it's too messy or because I don't have the ingredients. But you can just create art with food and they can eat it later. And it's so funny, but every time that food has a shape, I don't know why the children want to eat it. There's one class that we have, it's called Color Me Healthy at the program. It's called Color Me Healthy. And that program, it was about eating different, that session, it was about eating different vegetables. And I always have a hard time. So I told them that I was the healthy, the veggie monster, I'm sorry, the veggie monster. And that I was making a face. So I will make a face on my plate and I don't put any dressing or anything like that. This one has cream cheese, but the one that I make with the kids, I'll say, I just put the broccoli. The broccoli is the hair, the tomatoes, the eyes. Normally I use the celery for the mouth. And I can remember what I'm missing. The nose, I'll use something like a cucumber or something. The best part is when I tell them that I'm the veggie monster and I'm gonna eat all those veggies and I make those, I change my voice and things like that. And I pretend and then I start eating and I say, I'm gonna eat an eye. And they say, I'm gonna eat an eye. And I say, no, don't eat the eye or don't eat the nose. And they have so much fun with that it's so funny because in the beginning they say, oh, I don't like tomatoes. Well, I don't like cucumbers. But at the end, they eat it because they want to be veggie monsters. So this is just to, to talk about like the cookie monster. They eat cookies because I'm like a cookie monster. Maybe that's long years ago. Now they have different cartoons, but in my time was the cookie monster. So these are just some ideas that you can try. And there's so many, if you just Google food art for children, you will find a lot of ideas. Okay, so it's our time to start cooking. So today we're gonna do 3 recipes, the easy peasy tomato kebabs. We did this recipe virtual and the kids love it. There's some recipes that I don't know what it is, but they just enjoy it. Then we're gonna do the watermelon squeeze. One of our Farm to Easy Eat participants, one of our childcare centers, they talk about watermelons this past week, and they said that it went really good. So I'm excited to hear more details about that. And then we're going to do the stone soup. Okay, so we're having technical difficulties. Can you see me? Can you see my face now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Something happened. It's okay, Mary. Okay. Something happened.
We can see your whole studio.
Yes. Every time that something is not working, we get so scared. Okay. So these are the 3 recipes that we're going to do right now. While you make comments or ask questions, I'm going to wash my hands and then we'll go from there. Any questions?
No questions right now, but I have 2 love-its.
Oh, I like that.
And this is also very helpful.
Okay, great. Well. Thank you. And like I said, I love to hear from everyone. At the end of the presentation, you will have my email, or you can always ask someone on the team. Because we want to be sure that what we're creating is something you can use. And it's not just like, oh, one more thing, one more class that I'm taking and I'm wasting an hour of my time, especially during lunch. So, okay. So this is the first one that we're going to make. And actually, Mary Ann recommended this book. She read this book years ago when she was a child, just yesterday. So I was not really familiar with this book, but it's Stone Soup. It is really, really cool. Like I said, it's a little bit, I would not say it's for older kids, but it's long. But the words that they use, they're easy. I need easy words that I can pronounce. So it's not bad. But what I really like the story is about these soldiers that they get to this community or village, and they don't have where to stay or they don't have anything to eat. So the people from the village, they hid everything, or they hide everything from them. So they finally they say, well, we can make soup, and they put rocks or stones inside the pot. And then somebody said, oh, I wish we had carrots, or I wish we have cabbage. And I wish, so some people from the village, they said, oh, I have carrots. So she brought the carrots, and somebody else said, I'll bring the cabbage, or things like that. So that's how the story goes. And, you know, at the end, they have a good dinner, and then they have a place to stay. So that's what I really like about this. And especially when you can make an activity with the children. So you will say, how I'm going to make this recipe. So the first thing that you're going to need, of course, just one potato. And we're not going to cut this potato until the end, until the soup is ready. So you can divide it with the kids if they want potato. So this is going to be the stone. And again, you don't have to be in the kitchen. You don't have to have a kitchen. You can just use a slow cook. And you have to, I think you have to do it for 3 hours, 4 hours. 4 hours. So you will do this early in the morning. So by the end of the day, it's ready. And it's depending how big the vegetables are cut and all that kind of stuff, but around between 3 to 4 hours. So after you read the book, you tell the kids, you know what, we're just going to do the same thing that we did with that they did with the stone soup. So we'll put you wash your potato, and this is something that you can do in the water table, and then you rinse it again and wash it a little bit more. So, but again, I'm not, this is one of the only recipes that we're sharing ingredients, but the ingredients are going to be cooked. So that's why I don't really worry, because we'll kill all the bacteria and all those germs that we're always afraid. So another thing that you're going to need spices that you like. Like this is something that we use in different programs. I think we call it the savory seasoning. And basically because we don't use salt, we use all spices, but this one has garlic powder, black pepper, paprika, thyme, oregano, sage, and salt. So we're using these, and depending on your pot, that's the amount that you can use. Like I say, it's like if you were cooking at home a soup, okay? And then you can use chicken broth. You can use water, but I didn't like it with water, so it didn't have a lot of flavor. You can even put some tomato juice or tomato paste. So like I said, that's the part that as a teacher you're going to do. And we have all these instructions in your prep before class, okay? So you should not have any questions, but if you have questions, it's okay, we can help you. So then this is what each child will get, okay? If you, like I said, restrictions or making things different, but if you want to do it this way, in here you have a piece of cabbage, you have a piece of onion, and they have 2 carrots, baby carrots, and then we have celery, okay? You can do it that way. Or you can just do it like if you were pretending that the book was by families. So this family has the cabbage, this family has the carrots, this family has the celery, and this family has the onions. You can do it that way. So, but if you were doing it this way, so children will have the opportunity to touch, smell, and you know, and really discover and really talk about the cabbage and talk about each one of these. So I've lost my knife. Okay, I'm going to use this knife. So again, you know, we give them child knife, and we just want the children to cut our cabbage. So if I was cutting, like I showed the kids how to cut the cabbage, and they just keep going, okay? So after they cut all that, well, we're going to wait. So we're just going to say, so you cut the cabbage. Then we're going to cut the onions. Again, this is going to be all in here. The onions are going to disappear. So don't worry about, oh, the children are not going to eat onions or something. So you can tell them to cut them really small, or, you know, whatever, and they can just separate the onions, and you can teach them that skill. Okay, so after they cut all these, one of my favorites for children to cut is celery. Every time that I work with celery, they just love to cut this one. So because this is kind of like It is, it's crunchy, and it's not easy to cut, but it's not too hard. So they just cut these, and then if you see big pieces, like I say, you can, if you know, you can correct them or not. It's okay. Everything is going to be on the pot, so don't worry about it. And then and there is going to be soft, so don't worry about that. This is the only one that is an option. The baby carrots are very hard to cut. So what you can do, you can use shredded carrots, or you can use the, how you call the chips, the slice. So, and maybe they can cut it in half. And I'm saying it is hard, but this time it's not hard. So when we try it before, they were very hard. Or you can just tell them to cut it this way. That's okay. They're using their skills. So, or you can buy big carrots and you can ask them, like I said, when they're very hard, this is the hardest part. Okay, so after that, what you're going to tell the kids, so they have everything cut, and you're going to say, okay, now it's time to make our soup. So before we put the chicken broth, you're going to put all the vegetables, because if not, everything is going to splash. So be sure that you know, each child comes with a cutting board, and they put all the I'm just going to put it like this. Okay. You get the idea. I'm not going to eat these today because it's really hot in Goldsboro. So normally we'll cook it and we'll eat it. So, but I'm just going to clean up, and then you put your carrots in here. So after all the kids put all this stuff, so now we have a stone and we have all that. And like I say, just make it look like you're really living what is on the book, because I think that's what makes it so interesting. And then you're going to say, so now we need some water, or we need, in this case, we have chicken broth. And we use reduced sodium. Normally I use not salt added. So, but for this one is really plain. So you need a little bit of flavor. So you put all your, I use both of these containers, but it depending on the size of your pot. And then be sure that you put your spices, and that you're showing your children what you're doing, because many times, even that we eat soup all the time, not all children are aware of how to make soup. And then you just take it to a safe place and plug your pot. So I'm going to pretend that we're doing that. I'm pretending a lot today. So I'm just going to move this in here. Any questions about this activity?
No, but you have that they love you, and that the potatoes are a great substitute for the stone.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And and they also love the way that you make the story come alive with the children.
Thank you. It's like, you know, when you're reading a book, and if you can just make it real again, you know, it's like they're sharing. And I feel like some of those things we don't teach them that often. So what a good way to talk about kindness and sharing and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
She also did have one question for you.
Yes.
How do you, when you're dealing with the onions with the children, what do you do, or do you have any tips on not releasing so many gases to make the children cry?
Okay, so the more, if we were talking about, you know, if this was a cooking class for adults, I normally teach them the right way to cut the onion, because the more you handle the onion, the more you disturb the onion, the more juices are going to come out, and that's what is going to make you cry. So one thing that you can do is to put a lime or lemon juice in their cutting boards, and that's going to hold the juices there. Another thing that you can do, sweet onions, try to find the onion that is not as not spicy, but spicy. Would you say an onion that is not that strong? So sweet onions are really good for this activity. And if you have a very sensitive kids, you know, don't even add the onion. You can choose a different vegetable. Did I answer that question?
Yes, you did. She said, thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're gonna make our other recipe. And like I said, many times when you're cooking with children, we're not talking about like really recipes, but to really putting things together. And this is one of those recipes that I love because I think you can talk a little bit about shapes and you can count about how to divide things. And this is what it's all about. So in here, I'm gonna need one slice of bread, and we can talk about that it's a square. Then we need a rectangle, and that's one slice of turkey breast. Then we need 3 cherry tomatoes, or like I said before, I think cherry tomatoes are more expensive than grape tomatoes, so I always use grape tomatoes. We're going to use 3 spinach leaves, and then we're going to use 3 cubes of cheese. Okay, so look at it here. This is a shapes lesson, right? It's a lesson about shapes. So now what we're going to tell the kids that the first step, of course, is to wash your hands and wash your tomatoes. And then we're going to divide our bread in 4. So how do we do that? So we can say, somebody can say, well, just cut it. Oh, we can cut it in half, right? So we're going to get in the middle and we're going to cut, cut, cut. You see how easy it was to cut the bread? And then we're going to cut the other way, cut, cut, cut. And then we cut the other half. And before we only had 1 piece, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, that is amazing. Now we're gonna cut our turkey. So let's do this. Oh, this is a rectangle. It was different from the bread. So now I'm gonna cut 4 stripes, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut in the middle again, tick, 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 tick. And then I'm gonna cut this one in half. So I'm gonna cut this one in half and then the other one in half. Now we have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think I have all my ingredients ready. So this is about patterns. And I just love it because sometimes we want to teach patterns with flashcards or other things or blogs, but teaching it with food is really exciting. Okay, so we can get one of these, I can never remember, skiers. Okay, I can never remember the name for this. Okay, so we can say we're gonna start with the bread. And very careful because it's pointy. Okay, now we have our bread. The next one is our tomato. Okay, I'm gonna put it in order so I don't get confused. Tomato, and they can put it this way or the other way, whatever they wanna do. I'm gonna do it this way. Okay, now I need cheese. Okay, so this goes next. I'm gonna put the cheese. Oh, I need better fine motor skills. I'm telling you, and I went to preschool. Okay, now I need some turkey. Okay, so this is gonna be tricky because it's like sewing. I'm gonna put this, then I'm gonna go here, and then I'm gonna go one more time. So you see like a little snaking here? Okay, then I need to do the leaf, the spinach. So I have my first pattern. I have my bread, my tomato, my cheese, my turkey, and my spinach. So what goes next? Okay, we need to do the bread again. And then we need to do the tomato. And then we'll do the cheese. And then we'll do, remember we need to like sewing so we can make a little snaking here. Okay, and finally, we'll do the leaf. So, and you continue until you finish. And they love these. Oh, it's like a sandwich. And it is really cute. Okay, so that's it. You continue until you finish. Now we're going to go to the other side of the kitchen because we're going to make a mess. Okay, is Miss Marianne ready with the camera? Okay, so I need my knife. We forgot to put an extra knife in here. Okay, so this is the watermelon squeeze. Okay, so basically we're making watermelon juice. And I don't know about you, but that's something that we serve at my house during the summer. We have watermelon juice almost every day. Okay, so you're gonna just give them a piece of watermelon just like this. Okay, so that's the only prep that you're basically gonna do for this class, and just put them in a Ziploc bag or cover them with plastic. So the kids are gonna, first we need to get rid of the rind. Okay, so we're just gonna go around, around. And then, okay, so we don't need these. We can eat these a little bit later. Okay, and then we're gonna make cubes, okay? So we're gonna cut these. First, we're gonna do the all these things, and then we're gonna cut them. And of course, this is how children, they're gonna explore, they're gonna touch them, and they're gonna see the different ways that they can cut it. It's like, I don't know, when you start cooking, when you start learning how to cook, you try to cut the onion one way, and then you try the other way. So until you learn the best way to do it. So basically with kids, it will be the same thing. They're just learning, okay? And if you think that you can say, well, just cut them a little bit smaller, okay? Okay, so I have this. I'm glad Miss Mary Ann gave me some paper towels because I told you that it will be messy. Okay, and move my tray. Okay, I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna clean in here. Okay, I'll put this one in here. Okay, then you're gonna need a Ziploc bag. So because we use this big Ziploc bag, I'm just gonna ask the kids to have all the watermelon back in the bag. And if you have a big Ziploc bag, it will be less messy. But if you have a small one, it may be a little bit more messy. Okay, and when I work with the kids, if I can afford it, I like to use the one with the zipper because it's easier for the children to close it. But these are cheaper. So I'll use this one. So I can teach the children how to close it. So then we're gonna squeeze. Remember how we did it with the blueberries? So basically it's the same, okay? So the only thing that we need to be careful, we need to watch the children, and that's when, volunteers come very handy because they can help us to watch the kids that the bags are not exploding and the watermelon is not going everywhere. But the kids are going to be so concentrated in like, oh, look at, they do that to me, and they're like, look, Miss Michelle, I'm making juice. And juice, going from solid to liquid. And it's like, oh my God, this is, it's a lot of like for children to explore and to have a good time with this. So try to be sure that they squeeze as much as they can, because these really makes a difference when you're drinking your watermelon juice. Okay, I'm trying to squeeze as much as I can, but because of time, I have to take it to the glass. So I'm using.
Michelle,
yes.
Michelle, you were asked if you've ever substituted the skewers for chopsticks.
You can, that way you don't have the point. The only thing, like with the tomatoes, will be harder to stick it there because they don't have, they're not too pointy, and it's going to be a little bit harder, but it will be safer.
Right. And I do know some people have used coffee stirrers as well.
The only thing with those that are shorter, so you may not be able to do the whole pattern.
Okay.
Yes, but those are great ideas. Other people, if you can find also straws that they are like sturdy, you can use those too.
Okay, thank you.
Those are great ideas because different things, we use whatever we have in hand. So then I'm using glass, but just for you to, so you can see it better. Okay, I think I'm going to squeeze this more. If not, I'm not going to be able to drink it. And again, you don't have to have all these juice, but if you see that they can squeeze a little bit more, you can just tell them to wait, and we'll squeeze it, and then we'll put it in here. And some watermelons are so juicy that you do it a little bit and then you get all the juices. Okay. So you can use a plastic cup. Be sure that you don't use glass. I'm using glass so you can see it. And you can even give them a spoon so they can eat the watermelon, the pieces later. Okay, they can drink or eat it with a spoon. Okay, and now what we're gonna do, we are gonna put pineapple juice, and this is half cup of pineapple juice. And this is another way to teach the children about measurements. If you give them in a measuring cup, you can say, look at, I gave half. Or just, if not, you can just say, we're gonna put half of a cup for of pineapple juice. Okay, so then you get a spoon, but I didn't get a spoon, and we'll mix it. And I'm gonna have to try it because I think this is delicious. It is delicious. This is so good. Okay, we're gonna go to the other side of the kitchen. Do you have any questions about the recipes that we did today? Uh-oh, I'm not on camera. Okay, now I'm here. Do you have any questions? Any comments? Okay.
I'm not seeing any in the chat box, but again, people can unmute themselves and talk directly to Michelle. So, okay, like I said, I don't see any in the chat.
Okay, that's good. So just remember that we have a survey that every time that you do an activity, please let us know how that went. Fill out this survey so we can improve whatever we're doing. Even like, if you do the watermelon squeeze and you're like, oh no, it was terrible. So tell us why, and we can see if we can fix it. Or other ideas like you just told me that you can use coffee thingies, stirs, or things like that. So here is the link for the Google Drive, and I'm going to show it to you. And here is my information. If you want to get my email, anna.estrada@waynegov.com. So, and I'm going to get out of my presentation so I can show you the Google Drive, how we organize that. Let's see. Okay. So when you click on the link, can you see my screen? Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So when you click on the link, it's going to take you in here to the Steaming Around NC. And you're going to have 3 folders in here plus the survey. So on your first one is where you're going to find all the recipes, the recipe posters, the shopping list for all the recipes, the presentation for the first class, the prep before class, parent handouts in cooking class, and setup guide. Okay. Then if you go to the cultural awareness when cooking with children, you're going to see the map that we showed you last week, the poster with the NC rank in agriculture, and then the presentation from last week. And then finally, for today's class, you're going to see the games, and I'm going to open this one. So you have the NC Local Foods I Spy game, and this is going to be on, you can, when you print it, it's going to be a PDF file. Okay, then you're going to see the sequences. Oh, of course, I didn't download before. Let me see. And you may get all that. I'm glad that it happened. So right now it's downloading. Don't worry about it. So it's going to take a little bit of time, and it's going to come in here. Okay, and I just need to click there. Okay, and you have all these the puzzles that we show you, and then you can print it. Okay, now I need to go. Where's my Google Drive? I think it's this one. Or games. Okay, so now you're going to see the tasty treasure hunt. That's what you can print that one, so you can have a guide, and like I said, you can change your words for the things that work for you. And then the seeds, plants, and produce. Again, you may get this message. Just click on download, download anyway. Okay. Download anyway, and it's going to appear on the bottom. And then we'll wait a little bit, or maybe a little bit longer. Okay, and then we'll have the document, and it's ready for you on a PDF file to print. And you can use them just like that, or you can cut them the way we cut them. So we cut them because we wanted to make a game and we wanted to play with the kids. Okay. Then, okay, don't do this to me. Okay, of course it's going to do that to me. It's not going to let me go back, but basically that's what I wanted to show you. Do you have any other questions, any comments?
I have one that says, this was great. I have to go, but she has put so much work into this. I am glad she is part of our community to help better serve our kids.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any other suggestions?
Well, the only comment I have, Michelle, is how are you going to outdo yourself for next year? Because, you know, I'm already asking you now to do me another series. So
I know.
I'm just saying you're going to have to outdo yourself once again. I can't wait.
Oh, well, I'm excited. We're really excited. Hopefully, we have some ideas already for next year, because these really got us so excited. So,
well, and also I want you to know that we are working on site visits. So I'll probably be coming to Wayne County, but I have a lot of seeds. So I will try to remember to bring those seeds, because you had mentioned that earlier. So you guys can kind of go through them and see what you want to have them divided into 2 big bags. And one is like vegetables and fruits, and the other are kind of flowers and that sort of thing. But I'll bring the bags so you can kind of see, you know.
Thank you. So I'm not going shopping. I'm going to wait for you.
Right. And it should be soon, right, Emma? Because she's helping me set up everything. So what I'll try to do is make sure that I pop in where you are that day. Okay.
Yeah, I think you're coming in about 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you.
Yes. Tracy has said, thank you, Michelle. You are so awesome. And thank you for all the recipes and activities. And I know all of my teachers, they're just going to love this once we share this information, because like you said, it's already done. You've made it simple for them. And that's what we appreciate so much.
Thank you. Just let me know what you need and what you want, because like I said, that's what it makes it easier for me. I know many times you don't have the time, but I don't have the time either, but I really enjoy it.
Well, I thank you. We appreciate you so much for all of this. This was so wonderful this year. Just
thank you.
There are no words. So does anybody else have any thoughts? If not, we can dismiss a little early. Well, 5 minutes still. All right, I don't have any more. We will start back in July, and we will start back with our social emotional piece. Lynn Policastro will do our first class, and I will do the last 2. So if there are nothing else to say, Andrea Boyd said, thank you in the chat box.
Thank you, everyone.
Here's Michelle's contact information. So if any of you ever just want to, contact her directly, Michelle is always available to people. Very open, very talkable. So please, please, please feel free to reach out. Okay, well, if that's it, Michelle, thank you as always. Appreciate it. I'll see you in person. Woohoo! In a few. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. I'm coming out to see people. Lee County. I'm here in Lee County this week for you guys. So if you're on Lee County, I'm coming for you this week.
Well,
thank you, Michelle.
Thank you so much.